by bumping myself in the head. That is the start of tonight's stream. Hello everyone, welcome to MeanMachineDean. I'm Dean, and this is Throwback Thursday. It was meant to be VR Thursday, but I'm feeling a bit near at the moment, and playing VR probably wouldn't help that. And I decided to do something a bit different. Essentially, I'm going to go through some of my old gamesworld video DVDs that I've got. So many moons ago, I was on a TV show called Gamesworld. It was on Sky One, for those who are in the UK. It was competing against a Games Master that was on Channel 4 at the time. So I'm going to kind of go through some of the story of kind of how I got on the show, some interesting things about the back history, some of the people that I met, some of the stories and stuff like that. I don't know if I'm going to do all of it. There is a lot to go through. Essentially, I was on the show for 3 episodes. There was a first show, a second show, and then a grand final. Whether I do all 3, I'm not sure. I may save the grand final separate. I may do the first 2 episodes in one go. We'll see how the time goes and see if there's any questions or anything like that. Basically, we'll take it as it goes. So yes, how did I get on Gamesworld? So when I was, I think 9, if I remember rightly, my brother was at secondary school at the time, and I was in primary school as a young kid, as you're about to see, which you can hilariously laugh at. When my brother and part of his school basically decided to go to Gamesworld as audience members, so they basically went to go and actually watch the live film of the show and see some of the behind the scenes footage and stuff like that. And Gamesworld was slowly growing in popularity. It became a bit of a 90s cult kind of hit, which was quite interesting. And essentially over time, it kind of grew and grew and grew. But anyway, so my brother goes. Sees the live viewing of it. So he's watching the live show, he's watching other people compete, this, that, and the other. He's like, I can do this, I can compete, I want in on this. So he basically booked me and himself to go back for some screenings. So they did some screenings of how you are in front of the camera, talking, this, that, and the other. And how good you are at gaming, because if you're not good at gaming, it would be a bit odd going on a game show and you suck. So yeah. So with that being said, we went. I can't actually remember where the actual auditions took place now. It was somewhere in London. All I remember was like a big white room, loads of people, loads of consoles, stuff like that, all dotted around this room. And we could rock up, give them the paperwork. We're here for this. Okay, fine. So I'm just going to turn the microphone up just a tad. That should do it. And I'll never forget. We were sitting there. Me and my brother were talking about how the actual audition's going to be. I wonder what it's going to be like. I wonder if we're going to play any Videators, who were essentially the elite games players that you played against, which you'll see quite a few famous faces in the gaming industry that are still around today in the second episode that I'll show. None of those were there. I think there was a couple maybe kicking around from memory. But, it was so funny because my brother was very serious about going on the show. I was indifferent. I just thought of it as a day out and I'm going to go and play games, which as a 9-year-old, you're like, yeah, cool, wicked, yeah, let's go and play some games. Excellent. So we rock up at this place, we hand in our bits of paper, brother goes first, does really well. Essentially there were I think there was 3 or 4 games that you had to play, and you got called up one by one to play each person. So the 2 that I remember really well were, there was Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo on the SNES, which had just literally come out, and there was an R-Type kind of game, and then I think the other 2 were these indie games, and I can't quite remember off the top of my head. The reason why I remember the other 2 was my brother was like, okay, it's Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo. I know this in and out. Me and my brother play this in and out. I can do this. So I'm watching him. He's playing pretty well. He's kicking this guy's ass, yada, yada, yada. Anyway, so what was quite funny is he did really well, and I was like, oh, okay. I and the thing is, as a kid, you're just like, whatever. So he played really well. I then get called up, and I'm basically greeted with Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, like a game that's literally just come out. And as a 9-year-old, you're like, oh, awesome, right? I get to play this game that I'd probably never be able to play like ever. And as an absolute idiot, obviously they'd introduced new characters into the game. So I was like, okay, let's play as T-Hawk. Let's play as DJ Maximum. Let's play as this person, then that person, and that person. And obviously I got my arse kicked because I had no idea what to do with those characters. Eventually, in the latter ones, I started playing as characters I knew. So I started playing as a variety of different characters I knew. So Honda, Ryu, and stuff like that. Hi, it's good to see you in the chat. I'm just going through a start of what's going to be a very funny stream, so you better hold on tight. I'm just going through the audition process of when I was on a TV show, so I'm just getting to the really interesting parts, basically. So anyway, where was I? Yeah, so playing Street Fighter 2, Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo. I'm playing a variety of different characters who I have no idea what I'm doing. I then go back to the characters I know, start winning a couple of games, and I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. Anyway, as a 9-year-old, I'm like, whatever, yeah. So my brother's like, oh, you're stupid. You know, you should have played as the characters you knew. And at that age, I was just like, look, I've come out to play games. I don't really care. And then there was like an R-Type game, and I wasn't really great at side-scrolling shooters and stuff like that, although now I absolutely love them. And I did all right. I wouldn't say I did brilliantly. And I was just like, yeah, all right, whatever, don't worry. And it was weird because my brother wanted to push me more than himself. Anyway, with that being said, we did the auditions. We went home. A couple of weeks go by. Phone call at the house. We want to bring your brother in on a live show. Like, okay, cool. All the family, big day out, He goes on the show. And essentially the way it worked was there was like a group of people who all got together, which you'll see in the footage that I'm going to show in a bit of myself. I haven't actually got my brother's footage, unfortunately. And essentially you go together and you eliminate each other until you get to the final person. So it's a bit like a normal knockout Robin round kind of thing. So he gets pitched up against the smallest kid you've ever seen and loses within the first round. So we're like, oh, that did not go how we wanted. And the whole day was kind of ruined. My brother was pissed that he got knocked out in the first round. And we were like, well, do you know what? It was a day out, this, that, and the other. Went around London because it was shot in... The only thing I remember is it was shot in an old Sarson's Vinegar brewery in East London. And I was like, whatever, yada. So I wasn't too fussed. A couple of weeks go by. Phone call again at the house. Right, we want your son, i.e. me, to go on the show. And I'm 9 at this point. I'm in primary school and stuff like that. And to try and get your kid out of primary school then was obviously a lot easier than it is now. But that being said, I'm a 9-year-old kid, right? And I'm about to go on a TV show. So we had to write a letter to the school. They were like, yeah, cool, that's really nice, this, that, and the other. I think it was only one day I was off for, from memory. Well, eventually it was 3, but I'll come on to that later. So I carried on. I was like, okay, cool. I'll stop there and just say hi to Taz, who's in the chat. I could see, I'm just going through some memoirs of GamesWorld, and I do have the video footage. Unfortunately, the reason why the stream started late is I had some problems with an original disc where I couldn't get the files off, so I'm currently trying to get those off with the help of a very good friend of mine. And I've also found a DVD that I've burnt, which didn't run on any of my PCs except my Mac, but did run on a DVD player, and my new PC rig hasn't got a DVD player, so I had to kind of copy the files off, put it back on a hard drive that ran on both Windows and Mac, and then put it in. Anyway, that's irrelevant. Let's get back to the story. And thanks for coming, by the way. I appreciate it, Taj. Taz, even, not Taj. So phone call, this, that, and the other. Get to the studio. So studio day. I'm like, okay. Remember, I'm a 9-year-old kid, right? And I'm just like, whatever. Like in a complete daze. Like I'm about to be on TV. This is super weird. I'm playing games and this, that, and the other. And back then, I had no fear at all. No fear. Like literally, just whatever. Yeah, it was nothing. Most people who would be on TV, especially at that age, would be bricking it. Like, if I go back and look at myself now and I look at the footage, and I'm just like, I'm not that person anymore. It's a bit surreal. Anyway, that being said, I get on the show, we start the show, I'm upstairs, and basically you'll see in the footage in a moment. I'll start the video and I'll cut to a slightly different thing, and I'll just play the video and ad lib over the top of it, and I'll stop it in certain parts. So I get to the studio. It's not as big as I thought it was going to be, and it's a real surreal thing when you see TV studios and you would expect them to be huge, and they're not. This was a perfect example of that, and kind of the main open area that you see isn't as big as you think it is, and it was only until you actually look in the crowd and you see how deep the crowd is, you suddenly realise that. But from afar, you're like, oh wow, this place is massive. So I go upstairs, they've got all these consoles laid out, big long room, and there's like Super Nintendo, there's a Mega Drive, there's a Neo Geo, there's everything under there. I think there was an Amiga setup that we're using for like a couple of indie games that you'll see later on in the footage of episode 2. And I was like, whoa, this is crazy now. I had an arcade machine there for Turtles in Time, which I absolutely love. And funny enough, the only reason I love it is because it brings back all those memories from when I was at GamesWorld. And I also begged the hell out of my dad to give me a load of pound coins to go in that machine. So I don't think he'll forgive me for that. But anyway, that aside, I really didn't know what to expect. As I said, I was a 9-year-old kid going on a TV show. And it was a bit surreal. It was really surreal. And when I show you the footage, you'll understand why. Hey, Ficey, good to see you. I'm just sort of going through the intro part of this Games World special stream that I'm going to be doing. I don't know if I'm going to do all 3 episodes. I'm definitely going to do the first. I don't know if I'll do the second. We'll see how time goes. And then we'll leave the grand final one, where unfortunately I'll get knocked out quite early later on. So I'm just going to switch to hopefully this is going to work. Yes. Okay, so what I will do now is I'm going to start playing this. You've mentioned one of the quotes already. How dare you? Hopefully you can just about hear the sound in the background. I didn't want to put it on too loud, so let me turn it up a little. Man, this title sequence back in the day was the one. Every time, every Friday and a Wednesday, you used to hear this. I used to sprint down from my bedroom to the TV. Sprint. So, let me just pause that there. So, actually, let me get a little bit further in, get rid of the titles. So do you see what I mean? Like, you'll see parts where the camera pans out and you think, God damn, this studio's massive. Look how deep in terms of people. I mean, there's only, what, 3 rows? And they're kids, so they're not massive, right? But again, when you're watching this on TV, you think, oh, hang on a minute. It is massive, but it's not. Honestly, the studio was no bigger. How big was it? I would probably say maybe 2 of an average-sized living room. Probably something like that. Let me just quickly dive into chat. Me and my jacket here to stay. Yeah, that's definitely a quote that you'll see later on. What channel was this on? This was on Sky 1. So it was not long after Sky 1 was launched. This was kind of like Sky's big up middle finger to Channel 4's Games Master. So this is their attempt. So let's carry on. So Bob Mills, who's a presenter, I'm actually not sure what Bob Mills is up to these days. He did a few TV shows and stuff. I must say, for all the time that I spent with Bob Mills, he was a nice guy. People have mixed reviews of the guy, say he's a bit of an arsehole. I think he had a bit of a rough life. I think he became an alcoholic and got over it. So, but from my own personal experience, the guy was lovely to me. So I can't really complain. So yeah, so I mean, the format was, you might remember this guy, Dave Perry, who, like him or loathe him, was part of the show. Let me just quickly dive back in the chat. Didn't have Sky at the time. Yeah, I mean, it was one of those things where it was a very, what's the word I'm thinking of? Exclusive. I mean, Sky was relatively new back then. I mean, this was what, 90... Oh, I want to say 94, 95, something like that. So yes, I mean Sky TV was relatively new, and I mean it wasn't exclusive to everyone because then you kind of had like cable TV and stuff like that back in the UK. So that was kind of what was on. So if you look very carefully and you look at the person at the bottom left, you may recognise it. See, still back in the cap. In fact, sod it. Rest of the stream, we're back capping in homage to my old self. There we go. Oh, fucking hell, you're watching gamesworld. Yeah, yes, we are. So I've managed to resurrect some of the footage that I've got. What have I done to myself? Yeah, that'll do. Managed to find some of the old footage of when I was on gamesworld. And I'm basically going to go through the whole episode and talk over the top of it. So I just did the intro. And it's good to see you, Gaming Muso. Thank you for joining. And thank you very much, Taz, for retweeting about the stream. Really appreciate that. Thank you ever so much. So yeah, so you may remember the person at the bottom left, and I was absolutely bricking it at that point because they were like, "Whatever you do, don't move." Dave Perry's going to walk past you and talk it. He did this 8 times. I'm not kidding you. It literally took him 8 times to keep doing this because he kept forgetting his lines, or the cameraman actually tripped over my foot at one stage. And don't forget, I've got tiny feet for like an 8-year-old, 9-year-old. So how the hell he caught my foot is beyond me. But anyway. Let's carry on. So, oh, hang on, let me go back to the correct window. There we go. So, kind of go through. So these are all the people, or some of the people that I ended up playing. I must say, those women may look a bit scary. They were actually really nice. It was funny because as a 9-year-old, like everyone was just didn't quite know what to do with me, and my parents were just like, "Yeah, he's really nice," and I was super shy back then. He was a lovely guy actually. He really helped me because there was one stage where I was outside with my dad, and he was like, "You gonna be all right?" This, that, and the other. He came out and he went, "Your son has the potential to win the whole thing, Mr. Kennedy. Trust me on this." And I was like, "What? What is this guy talking about? I'm an 8-year-old. Are you taking the piss?" So let me just pause it there and go back to the chat. Yeah, no, I've mentioned that already. You missed the stream. So Big Bro Mo 79 is actually my brother, and Fireseed is my cousin. So it's a bit of a family fest in here today. So yeah, so essentially what would happen is you would get, each person would get drawn. Were they drawn at random? I think they were actually from memory. There was a draw that happened before this draw, which sounds a bit odd. Let me just get some water. I don't care. No one wore a bat cap better than me. No one wore a bat cap better than me. Not a single person wore a bat cap better than me. What was hilarious was that TV was shit. The quality on it was awful. So the thing is like you're expecting like big budget TV. Now obviously, flat screen HD TVs didn't exist, right? But you know, back then you could, if you paid some money, you could get a relatively good CRT TV. But yeah, it was awful. I remember looking at it sometimes, going, "Really? Is this what I'm working on?" Anyway, let me know if the audio of the actual footage is too loud or my microphone is too low, by the way. But yeah, this is a Neo Geo game. I think it's The Art of Fighting. So from memory, the way it worked it was a random game picked against 2 random people. So basically you used to be able to play, used to practice backstage and stuff like that. But the characters were drawn at random, and that really annoyed me because I always thought like you could end up with like a really lame character that you wouldn't know. So imagine like Street Fighter and you end up with like T-Hawk. No one plays as T-Hawk, right? So I did get my ass kicked with someone who played T-Hawk not so long ago, so I'll take that back. But you can see what I mean. You stick to the characters that you know. You could end up drawn against someone else. So, and plus it was 1 round, so it's like 1 round and KO, and that is it. And that's it. So like that's that guy knocked out. So you imagine that poor bugger's probably he's probably travelled halfway across the country only to get eliminated in the first round. So anyway, this was kind of the format of the show. I can't remember which. I think I'm 3rd out from memory. Oh no, this is me. Go on, son. Yes, give him some of that. Look at that jog. Look at that speed. Not like that anymore. I mean, look at the other kid. He looks like he doesn't even know what time it is. He's like, I don't even know what's going on. Do you know what? I never even spoke to this guy, and I felt really bad. Because I basically just kicked his ass. So the game that we played was Sonic 2, and so as you can see, it's the ring collection thing, right? Now, true story, never played Sonic 2, never played the ring collection. Fist pump, mate, yeah, I know. Never played Sonic 2, never played this level, never even practiced it backstage, right? And I was like, well, to be fair, how difficult can it be? Just collect rings. So what you can see is, like, I thought, I'll jump this, that, and the other. And then I just went, hang on a minute. If I just stay still, I'll just collect rings. So you'll see, I cotton on to the idea eventually. I'm just like, okay, we'll go here. He's flopped it and dropped all his rings. So I was like, well, hang on a minute. If I just stay still, I can just collect everything. And that's exactly what I did. Until for that part, and then I lost my rings, and I thought, okay, well, I need to pick it up. And he's not, as long as I carry on collected rings on the same pot, I will always beat him. Lo and behold, it worked. Simple tactics. Go on, son. Have it. So I mean, I just sat there and went, well, hang on a minute. To beat this guy, all I've got to do is collect more frames in him. That's it. That frame, mate. Yeah, I know. Everybody loves it. Everybody loves it. From memory, that Gemma had a real attitude problem. Like, it was odd because, I mean, like, as I said, for me, I was very shy, very timid. I didn't know what was going on. I was just in like a dream world, right? And she had like some proper chip on her shoulder, and I was just like, okay, if there's anyone I've got to beat, it's got to be her. Anyway, we will find out if that happens. I'm not going to spoil the fun. I can't even remember what these two played. Was it Street Fighter? Maybe I'm wrong. Hang on. You see, it's been a while since I've watched this. Yes, I was right. Look at that for a memory. The female Borg looked cute. Yeah, she was. Not a piece of bum fluff everywhere. Well, I can see this is going to turn into a roasting session. Just watch how quickly this girl dispatches this guy. Done. Tell you what, that's a face, isn't it? I thought mine was embarrassing. I mean, to be fair, that Jay... Sorry, mate, but you got your ass kicked. If you're going to turn up and you can't even block, you got a bit of a problem, especially when it comes to Street Fighter. Now then, can I remember what these two played? Oh, that's a good question. I feel it's a sport game. Maybe I'm wrong. Or was it Nam? The Neo Geo game where you're side-scrolling shooting. It might be Nam. Let's see. I can't remember. Piglight, rewind it. No, I'm not rewinding it. No, we're going. I'm hitting play and pause it. I'm not rewinding it back to her. Oh no, well, I told you it was sport related. I was close enough. I tell you what, this bit of the game was a prime example of two people who had never practiced this game. Watch what happens. I think if I remember rightly, every penalty but one goes down the middle. You don't need your FIFA, mate. You need this. See what I mean? So it was like the two guys just didn't bother practicing any of their penalties. So let's see. Right, that's one. I'm almost certain all of them go down the middle except for that one. Oh no, I'm wrong. I stand corrected. But it was quite funny that the guy just didn't bother diving at all. He just stayed in the middle, and that was it. So poor old Imran's going home on the bus, and there's the four goons. Number 3. Sorry, mate. Look at number 5, though. I felt, do you know what? Like watching this back. Look at the dreams I've crushed. God, I feel awful now. I think that's the problem as an adult. You start to become a bit soft. Sorry, mate. I collected more coins than you.
Now, 15th in the world, is that true? Yeah. One of the greatest players in the history of games.
15th in the world. I'll tell you what, mate.
She's got no, I
don't know what you were playing, whether it was Tiddlywinks or something, but you are not 15th in the world. Because you get defeated that bad at Street Fighter. Woo! You are not bringing that home, mate.
So small.
That was a pretty good Ric Flair, actually. Woo! Did number 3 even get a punch out? I don't think so. I think she literally went up, massive punches, throw, massive punch, throw, game over. What was hilarious was they were like, that's the pit. You know the room where we all sat and Dave Perry walked down the middle? It's the same room. They just filled it with smoke. Which I think is pretty funny. Oh, here we go. Here we go.
I love sports and I love social.
I'm going to turn this up.
But I especially love fighting games. And let me warn you, when I play to win.
Of course you do, mate, you mug. I can't even remember what mine said now. I think it said some absolute crap. Let's have a look.
Hi, my name's Matthew.
Hang on a bit. Hang on a minute. I know I said I didn't want to rewind it. I just want to see what that said.
Love fighting games.
Hang about.
Warning. When I play to win.
Yeah, Alan. All right, get on with it, mate. You play to win and all that. Right, hang on a minute. I just want to pause this. Right, hang on a minute. Let's just have a quick look here. On course, currently studying A-level politics, history and English. All right, cool. Ambition. I can't quite read what that says. I don't know if it's because I paused it wrong. Oh, sorry. To be worshipped by the masses as a national hero. I mean, yeah, it's a bit. That's a bit strong, isn't it?
Hi, my name's Matthew, and let me tell you, I came, I saw, I conquered the machine. Look at me now, I'm here and I'm mean.
Yeah, you ain't rigging got the jacket, mate, have you? Oh, I didn't bring the jacket, idiot. Right, Matthew, hang about.
Hi,
Oh,
I'm
bugger.
Gemma.
Yeah, all right, love. Give it a rest. Hang about. Bit of an ego. To be fair, the whole show was about egotism. Unfortunately, I was so small and so intimidated. I didn't have an ego at all. Right, hang on a minute. Right, hang on about. Matthew's mad about water sports. And even has his own boogie board. Wow. Likes a wide range of bands from Blur to Metallica. Well, as long as he's mentioned Metallica, that's fine with me. And his dream is to become a pop star. Not with that Barnet you went,
Hi,
mate.
I'm Gemma. Although I'm only 12 and only a girl, you just see me smash the hot shot and now watch me wipe out the lot.
Water sports. Exactly. I'm not going to dwell on that. Wow, I didn't even realise that. Favourite film, Home Alone. Cool, that's good. Oh, that's hilarious. I didn't even see that before. Gemma wins all the arguments at home, so reckons she'll make a great barrister. I think that's code for she chats a lot of shit and gets away with it. Football. Loves playing up front so she can whack in the goals. As an American, I would like to say I am depressed that I wasn't part of my childhood. Yeah, it was. To be fair, it was a great TV show. I mean, my brother can vouch. We used to watch this religiously, and it was pretty awesome. But I'm sure you had things like this in the US as well. So anyway, she likes to whack balls in a goal. So let's carry on. Who's next?
My name's Dean. I've just beat Ricky on Sonic. Bring the others on. I'll run rings around them all.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Let the ripping commence. I can't even remember what I wrote here. What a lie. What a lie. Oh dear. Oh dear. Loves Egypt, especially the pyramids and Sphinx. Fact, I'm half Egyptian. That's why. What's to become an electronics engineer? Didn't quite go down that path. My brother did. I didn't. I don't remember that. 9 times out of 10, Dean loves listening to reggae. There you go. It's not far. It's not far wrong. Not far wrong. You can't go better with a bit of Bob. Now, I'm not being funny. Everyone looks all right. Look at me. Just look at me. I look like I couldn't care less about this at all. And that shirt is about 3 times too big for me. Funny how times change. But yeah, just look at my face. I literally look like I don't care. I don't want to be there. Whatever we had was straight shit compared to this. This is gold. Oh, well, I appreciate that. Look at my face. What am I doing? I'm literally looking around going, what? What am I doing here? This is this is weird. Oh dear, this is bad. I sense there's going to be a lot of Instagram pictures and Twitter videos going off here.
What have we got for them, Joe? Well, next up, Bob, got our old friend one of the players.
Deer caught in headlights, exactly. Oh, this game was the one. So this was on the Amiga, and this was a game like one of the guys there had made. And it's basically, well, I mean, if you can hear what they're saying, it's basically it. And whoever's got the illness or the spots or whatever, by the end of the time got eliminated, which then left 3 people. So, go on, Bob. Right, so obviously the colours on screen match the shirt, so I'm the Black Bob in this. I mean, this game was cool, and do you know what? For the most part, I think I played pretty well. There was one bit where I probably should have been eliminated. So for some reason, I got a bit cocky, and I thought, well, if I try and drag him in, and then start that bit, that's where I should have been caught, to be fair. Good old Quick Shot Pros there being used. One of the best pads ever made. Sorry, sticks ever made. So there were bits where I think I actually get tagged at one stage. Let's see. Do I? Oh, maybe I didn't. Nothing to say, really. I thought I played a blinder, but never mind. I probably should have got caught on that bit where I got a bit stuck, but that's life. That's life.
Yeah, but I could have shifted it, but there wasn't enough time.
That's it. Once it gets you right in the last few seconds, it's a great game, though, isn't it? No, that's what I mean. It's a great game for us to watch. It's a horrific game. Now, you like water sports. You've got a boogie board, haven't you?
Great game, innit? Nah, shit, mate. That's blatantly what he's thinking. Look how gutted his face is, though. But and you can. Oh, just notice that. That's hilarious. Oh dear. Hang on. Right, I didn't even realise this. Sorry, I just round that back a bit. So so I think down in the bottom right. Hang on. Hang on. Let me check. Where did I see my little face? Right. So you can see just behind his left arm, you could just see my face. Watch my face when I know he's about to be put in the pit.
You've got a boogie board, haven't you? Yeah. Are you any good on it?
Sort of.
Yeah? The big question on everyone's lips, what on earth is a boogie board? And we'll never find out because he can't tell us, because where's he going? In the pit. Gentlemen, take him away!
Oh, that look. Oh, dear, that's hilarious. Oh, dear. Oh, my. Oh, that's funny.
Who could it possibly be? There's only one way to find out. Join us after this break.
Gemma probably grew up to be fit. Yeah. Not her mouth, though. Not with that jaw. Oh, mate, that's deep. Oh, that's deep. Right, I'm not going to pass judgment on people. That's not what I'm here for tonight. Look how old that Sky 1 logo is, though. Damn. Right, now this is where I thought I was going to be eliminated, and you'll see why. So it was Space Harrier, and I was all right at it. Now, very good. Back then, Don't forget, you've got a lot of pressure on you. You're trying to get through, and basically everyone had to have a go to try and see what high score they could get, right? So obviously you're playing against everyone else, so you've got that pressure, the lights are on you, you get one crack at this, right? And that's it.
we got up? Let's have Dean. You ready to go?
So I had to go up first and set the benchmark, right? And you'll see, I did pretty shit. my dog is laying on me and snoring. Ah, it's not called Gemma, is it? Oh, that's harsh. I take that back. I take that back. So you'll see, I don't play that well at this. I think it's now. Yeah, I thought as much.
233,160, Dean. That's your score. Do you think that's going to take you through to the head-to-head? Well, we'll see. Lost his life, didn't he?
He did indeed, yes. I mean, it might take him through.
Oh dear.
I've not seen that game.
Oh dear.
It's a very old game.
He's hovering, isn't he, the lad? Whoa, yes. Gemma.
Hang on a minute, Taz. Are you trying to say my stream is boring? I'm taking. I'm kidding. I'm only kidding.
Sounds like a lot. Jerry here thinks you might be able to beat it. You ready
From
to go?
memory, I
40
think she
seconds?
absolutely flopped it because I remember from where I was sitting, I could look straight at the screen, and as soon as I saw her die or get hit at the bit that she did, I knew straight away I was into the final. So watch what happens. So you remember this bit, and I think it was done on points. So she gets hit then. All she had to do was literally go for another
Gemma, 82,
second, half a second more, would have took me straight out. I was stupidly lucky not to be eliminated at that point.
If you lose your life quickly, it can be just go very quickly in this game.
Right, okay. So, Alan, let me tell you what you're aiming to do. If you beat 82,
So, Alan,
210,
I bet
you're
he's
through to the
probably like
head-to-head.
got
But
kids
most
now,
importantly, you wanna aim
mortgage,
for a score of
everything.
233,160, because whoever wins this round gets to choose.
He's probably an investment banker somewhere with a great job, and we're watching him play games. If she starts farting, she'll get kicked out. Wonderful. So from memory, this guy, because obviously he watched what we did and was just like, well, I just won't do what they did. So as soon as he gets past here, now, right, so he's done, right? So he's well through. No problem at all. So he's playing for pride now. Wasn't that on the 32X? Yeah, it was. Absolutely right. I can't remember if it was a launch title on the 32X now. Maybe I'm wrong. Then, if the Gaming Muso's still here, he'll probably know. I'm sure it was a launch title on the 32X. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. So Alan's like, yeah, I'm bad man, smashed it, this, that, and the other. I was like, okay, I've got through this in the skin of my teeth. I need to mash up Alan, okay?
All right, Gemma, that's a tough game, isn't it? What happened?
So I'm going to tell you an interesting story in a minute, and it's going to make you
You've
laugh.
lost your life. They all come at you a bit fast and
So I'll let her
furious, don't
bugger
they?
off into the pit,
Right
and then
at
I'll
the
cut the
beginning
camera
of
back,
tonight's
and then
show,
we'll
you
cut
came
back
up
to it
against
shortly.
Jay, who said she won't win, she's just a girl. Anything to say to him?
He's number 15 champion in the world, and I beat him.
You slaughtered him. You just didn't beat him. You picked him up, chewed him up, and
Well, yeah,
spat
that's
him
great,
out,
but
all right?
you're still
You know,
getting
sometimes
kicked out, love.
as well at this point, we have
Do you know what I mean?
losers.
Don't get me
Tonight we
wrong.
have someone who just
You mashed up a
failed
world
to win.
champion.
It's that
Wicked.
simple. With great
No one's going to
business
remember it, though.
Take her away. Gemma, come on.
Right,
Yeah,
so
back to the real business.
at that point, what I'm going to do is we're going to go back to this camera. I'm going to tell you a little story. Yeah, my Mia's brilliant. Wow, I love the way my stream has suddenly become a Muso's probably fixing the TV. No, we're not laughing about that anymore. I love the way my stream has just become about farting. Brilliant. Anyway, so true story. Just before I went on Gamesworld, my dad bought me, and I wish... I'll see if I can find it maybe in a bit, or I'll see if I can put it on Instagram. About... My brother can probably confirm this. I'd say it was probably... It was either a month or at least a few weeks before I went on Gamesworld. We got a brand new copy of NBA Jam, right? And it's still got the $59.99 sticker from Blockbuster Video still on it. And if you joined my retro stream in VR, you would have heard the story already. And if you didn't see it, shame on you, because it was brilliant. But anyway, my dad bought it for me, and the reason why I kept the sticker on it is it's a reminder of the things your parents buy you, the investment they put into you, and also how much it costs for things back then. And $59.99 back then was a lot of money. So to have that, I was like, amazing. Anyway, me and my brother used to play that game to death. And it was relatively new at that point. So I was like, well, do you know what? NBA Jam's about, you know, skills and tactics and speed and this, that, and the other. So I thought, do you know what? Screw it. Let's just carry on playing it. So we played it to death, right? So I was constantly practicing this, that, and the other. Found out certain tricks about how to get a better average at doing 3-pointers where you run right into the corner and you just shoot and stuff like that, which you'll see in certain parts. So keep that in the back of your mind. Anyway, I will now cut back to the, if I can remember which one it is, that one. And I will bring this back. And I will switch back to this. Let me...
We've got 2 guys in the head-to-head.
There we go.
Alan and Dean. Come on,
Right.
let's get it on.
So, have a guess which game is next. So, let me pause this at... Where we go? Right, so the head-to-head, right? So, it's me against Alan. We're sitting backstage. And as I said, they pick everything at random, right? So, the game is random. And the teams that you play are as random. So, when I used to play NBA Jam, I always used to play as the Seattle Supersonics. All about Kemp, right? All the way. Guy comes around the back, and I think it was one of the producers, and he was like, oh, hey, Dean, da-da-da-da-da. The game you're going to be playing in the head-to-head is NBA Jam. And literally, something in my back just went, I've won it. I knew at that point, unless Alan had been practicing that game from the moment he got there till the moment we went on stage, I knew I was going to beat him. I just knew it. It was close, but I just knew I was going to beat him. But the moment he said NBA Jam, the smile that went across my face, even the producer was like, what the hell's wrong with this kid? I knew everything about the game. I knew I was going to be able to pull something off here. Anyway, the head-to-head.
Okay, it's Alan versus Dean. The height against the haircut. What have we got for them?
The height against the haircut. Bloody cheek.
Appearance on our show is NBA Jam Tournament Edition on the Super.
Voila.
3-minute quarter. And the Chicago
So, I normally played as the Seattle Supersonics, and they were like, look, we've given you the Phoenix Suns, right? So I was like, all right, Charles Barkley, I can work with that. He's pretty decent. So I was like, okay, let's make this work. Alan thought I was going to kick him. He was going to wipe the floor with me, right? Anybody who knows me knows this game is mine. Strangely, the crowd, and if you listen carefully, they were all on his side. Eventually, once they noticed I started pulling away, the whole crowd switched to me. Oh, this brings back so many memories. So I suddenly thought, well, okay, for every dunk I'm getting, he's getting one as well, right? And I'm like, well, I can't do that. I need to start changing this up. So that was another tactic I used to look at the focus. Look at that face, though. That's an angry face. So I realised that as long as I got the ball down the other end and my other character was there, even if it comes off, he's there to slam it in. He never cottoned onto that idea, and you'll see I pull it off a few times. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty even, right? I mean, I didn't wipe the floor with this guy, absolutely not. But I slowly started to pull away towards the end, because I thought, well, as long as I ended up with one more set of points more than him, I knew. As soon as he hit that 3, I knew I had to step it up. I was like, right, screw it, that's it. 3-point at a time. So I was like, all right, get the dunk in. Push it as close as possible. The moment I managed to do it, you'll see the whole dynamic of it change. All I kept seeing was him, 1 point more, 1 point more, 1 point more. And I'm going, really? This is actually happening? So that was something they introduced into the... I think it was in the original game. So if you tried to... Basically, your hand would go through the hoop to basically knock it away. So I was like, okay, all right. It's time to step the game up. So I knew I was a point behind. Point behind minutes ago, right? I need to do something pretty impressive. Bit of defence there. I was like, okay, get it down the other end. Get the guy to get it, which I think I do in a minute. So I was like, okay. Yeah. Get it down the other end. Get it off. Dunk it in. I think it went in. Yeah, 3-pointer. There we go. See what I meant about going in that corner and hitting those threes? So at that point, I knew, even if he gets a dunk, as long as I get some more points, he ain't going to touch me. Another 3-pointer. I knew I was clear at that point. He needed to pull off something incredible to try and come back from this. I was like, as long as I hold him off, we're good.
No basket, and then Felix the breaking back at 13. Oh, that's close. 10 seconds to go. We're going for desperate long shots down the court. 3, 2, 1. It's all over.
And there we go. Look at that. Not a care in the world. I've only just beaten everyone when I literally could care less and ended up winning the whole damn thing. Look at my face. Oh, that's so funny.
Completely underestimated him.
He whopped you, didn't he?
As a joypad, no.
Yeah. I'll tell you what you learn when you watch gamesworld, kids. Doesn't matter how big
Oh
you are,
dear,
how
oh
big your
dear,
heart
oh
is and your
dear.
talent, that's what counts. And Alan, you're a big guy, which means you will fly down that pit. Gentlemen, take him away.
Do you know what? It was so funny. I didn't mean to be, but it looks like it.
Look at him. He's cool, he's confident, because he knows the job is only half done. Okay, he's a champion tonight, but on Wednesday we do the whole thing again. And he comes
Back to
on Friday.
I don't care face. I'm just like, yeah, whatever. Camera, yeah, Bob Mills, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Any videos that you particularly like to take on? Master Moriarty. Wow, what a battle of the giants.
Do you know what, it's so weird looking at myself because I've had a bit of a lazy eye since I was a kid. Back then it was really bad. Really bad. Look at this bad boy. Pictures of it on my Instagram if you're not following me. Instagram.com/MeanMachineDean. Cheap plug. Do you know how many times I had to do that? 3 times. Oh no, you weren't on the spot enough. Oh, you went too quick. I'm wearing a bloody jacket, mate. I mean, you got a camera pointing at me. Just make it a wide angle shot and capture it. Anyway, that's episode 1 locked off, right? So, I'm going to pause it there. We'll go back to the other camera. So anyway, episode 1's done, right? So, I don't know why that Alan Rice one of the guys for the project. That's so true. Yeah, I never thought of that. He's bigger than the 2 escorts. Oh, that's... It's true. It's very true. Anyway, that's episode 1 done, right? So my dad had taken the day off thinking, oh, here we go again. Another one's going to get eliminated. I end up winning the whole frigging thing. And they're like, oh, you're going to need to come back at some point. And he's like, okay. Time to book another day off then, I guess. The interesting thing was they didn't actually want to let me take the jacket away. And I was like, but I've just won it. Like, are you taking the piss? Like, I've just told everyone at school, like, I'm going to be coming home with that thing, and you're telling me I can't leave with it. And they were like, yeah. And I was like, what? And my mum was like, are you for real? Like, what's the whole point? Anyway, they were like, well, as long as you bring it back. And I'm like, well, I'm coming back on the show. Of course I'm going to bring it. I think they were worried that people would go and then never come back. They keep the jacket and stuff like that, which just seems weird. So anyway, went back to school, and Fireseed can remember this very well. Next day, walked in, jacket. Everyone's like, what the hell? I was like, it's probably going to be on TV at some point. I think it must have been a while afterwards, and then I brought a video in, and we all sat down and watched it from memory. But yeah, anyway, went back to school, had the jacket, this, that, and the other. It still hadn't quite clicked in because I was still in my, like, yeah, like, whatever mood. And then I remember, like, in my old bedroom, I had it hanging up, and I was like, I actually won this, didn't I? Like, it was really surreal. So yeah, thinking about it, it was still a bit odd to be a 9-year-old and to walk away with something like that. So yeah. Right, how are we doing with time? What are we at? Do you know what? I think we can do episode 2. I wasn't gonna, but I think we can do episode 2. So episode 2 was a rather interesting one, and there's a lot of stories and a lot of things that I need to answer to. Unfortunately, I was randomly shown a video the other day. Well, I say the other day, it was about a month and a half ago, which is actually the reason why I'm doing this, where there were some quite well-known people in the industry, some people who were previously on Gamesworld and stuff like that, who were talking mad rubbish about when I was actually on the show. Some of what they said was true. The other stuff was awful. Anyway, that aside, I'm not going to go into the details. All I'm going to do is tell the absolute truth of what happened on that day. Okay? So let's cut back to here. I think this should start episode 2. Ah, this intro. I remember it so well.
But one thing survived. They could not break its
All I'm going to say is there was tears, fights, and emotional parts during this episode. One thing to bear in mind, I'm a 9-year-old child, okay? Back in early 90s. So yeah, countdown, blah, 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 blah. Do you know what? It was strange because as a kid I thought this is what the studio would be like. And when I got there I was like, right, it's nothing like this at all. So anyway, same studio, looks massive, it isn't. New crowd, different thing, different day. New commentator, he was awesome guy, mad props to the man at the desk. He was like my mentor because everyone who believed in me, that guy, mad props to him. He was awesome, and do you know what? I still have his words ringing in my ear sometimes. So just to pause this off, I mean, it is explained in the video and stuff, but essentially the way it worked is there was a winner on the Monday show and the Wednesday show who would then play each other to then go ahead to play the elite games players called the Videators, and these were like well-known, top performing gamers, right? I mean, we're not talking about any old person, we're talking about top people. So one of the people that I remember very well was a guy called Raggedy the Games MC. Yes, that was his name. They get more ridiculous, don't worry. And he, at Street Fighter on the 3DO, scary. I played him 22 times. I took one round from him. Not a whole game, one round. And he was playing with his eyes shut. Exactly. Shouldn't happen. Anyway. So what would happen is you'd eliminate the other person. You would then play these people. You would accumulate coins in a game that we're about to see in a moment. And those coins would then be put against to play these videos. And you would bet and stuff like that. And then at the end you would accumulate coins. Those would then go towards the grand final. And wherever you place would then be put into grand final. All would become clear in a moment.
Tim Boone.
Thanks, Bob. 2 more victims, loads more fun. Game on.
So, Dean and Abby, great players both. Let's have a little look at them.
That girl at the bottom right looks like she really doesn't care.
My name's
Go on, son.
Monday's chap. I've seen Abby play and me and my jacket are here to stay.
Yes, boy.
I'm Wednesday's winner. He may be small and mean, but I'm keener and meaner.
So there you go.
Mug.
Mr. Cutter, no respect to them.
Oh dear.
Bring them to me now.
Let the ripping begin. Look at that pace again. In fact, I didn't even realise that. I nearly smashed into that guy's elbow. Let me just back that off a minute. Ah, out of all the places. Still the same girls. Yeah, I think so. There was about 5, I think they used to alternate between them. But anyway, just watch. Hang on. I swear I just saw something I'd never seen before. Right, so I'm jogging along, turn the corner. I go on the stage. I literally duck under that bloke's elbow and nearly mash my face on it and run in. I think that guy tapped me on the back from memory.
Here's Abby. Dean, you've grown. This man has grown 3 inches since he spent the week on Millsy Island working out. We've had him on the
Where's KFC? What do you mean, where's KFC?
Abby, you feeling good? Yeah. Well, you know what happens.
Oh, I see what you mean. That's awful. Awful. Stop it.
At the console.
Fact, those chairs, rubbish. It looked like they looked like the type of chairs you would get in like a really low budget wrestling thing. Like awfully like comfort. Yeah, they were not made for comfort. They were cold and crap, and they were one of those ones where you sit on it, instead of it being straight, they're all like crooked and stuff like that, so you have to like balance your foot. Anyway, low budget. So this was Cash Dash, as I said, so you basically run around, collecting coins, of course. This was all coded on the Amiga, I think, if I remember rightly. Simple game, played really well. You could beat the other person up on the robots and you just collect it as money. ECW charts, exactly. It looked a little bit like the ECW arena, actually. I never thought of that. So yeah, I was the blue one. It's funny, I thought it was the green one. Never mind. I think from memory this was pretty close. The other advantage I had was like we used to have a Commodore Amiga as a kid. Look at them joysticks. Look at that. I used to have an Amiga as a kid. We did as a family. And obviously I was used to playing on sticks like that, so obviously I had a little bit of an advantage. So, and it's funny because that point when he froze me out, he could have easily gone past me, and he just froze on the spot like he didn't know what to do. So by that point, I was like, okay, all I need to do is just keep getting as many coins as possible. And I was like, okay, let's keep going. I mean, you can see there's not a lot in it. It was honestly, a lot of it was down to chance. Wherever those coins landed, it was purely down to chance. Close. If I didn't stop on that bridge, he probably would have gone through and beaten me. Absolutely.
Abby just 2 behind. That's too many. Goodbye.
Dean, well played. Hey, you don't need me to tell you how
That's
bad
true.
that
I never
was.
thought of how many people sat on that chair.
You had the lead and then you slipped back and you lost it.
That's bigger and better than the bingo halls of ECW went to. You're probably right, actually.
Yeah, you think that's what it was? Maybe that's one of 2 options. The other, of course, is that he...
As you can see, I was starting to... I was starting to get a little bit more confident then. Because I was like, okay, I'm starting to dispatch people, you know, one by one. And strangely, the guy at the table was like... I've never seen someone with, like, no emotion just dispatching people. And I was just like, whatever.
How'd you feel? Yeah, okay. You ready to rumble? Are you going to take on the videators now? Do you think you got any chance?
Thing is, he's talking to me like he's talking to a dog. Are you want to go? You want to go play? You want to throw the ball? Bob, I'm a kid, mate. What's wrong with you?
We'll find out.
Anyway, that aside, so the interesting thing is all of the people I play had certain personas, right? And essentially, the part where I ran in, there was like a stairwell on the side. And as you walked up to that stairwell, it went to the main production office. So as I said, there was that room that had all the consoles in. There was the production office. And there was just people walking around. And like, for me, I'd seen a lot of the videos on TV, right? And all of a sudden, I was like, hang on a minute. I recognised that person. I recognised. And then I was like, shit, I've just seen Big Boy Barry. And he don't mess about when he plays games. And I was like, okay, if I get to play him, it's going to be some big challenge. Anyway, we carry on.
Oh, my little friend, it's time to face the Videator Challenge.
Burning like fire, absolutely.
Okay, little Dino, welcome to the big time because you are playing the Videators.
So just before we carry on, first game, World Heroes 2 Jet, SNK Classic, one of my favourite beat-em-ups. I played it to hell upstairs in that training area. They had Neo Geo set up and this, that and the other. I was like, okay, I've not played this game, I really need to nail it down. And the strange thing is that everybody else was like playing all other games. No one touched it. Why? I don't know. I was like, alright, I'm going to sit here for a bit, and I must have put a good hour in before we went live. And I was like, alright, cool. You'll see why.
Challenge is World Heroes 2 Jet. This is one of the best beat-em-ups around. Remember World Heroes 2, the classic from a few years ago? It's been supercharged, it's supersonic, it's super fun.
And it's going to be played by a super player. Okay,
you're going to love this. You may recognise this person. If anyone does, drop the name in the chat.
He's got 51 points. He bets and he amasses as big a total as he can, and he does that against the Videators. But before we randomly select his Videator, we want to know how good he thinks he is. How many of those points are you willing to bet?
17.
17.
So just before we carry on, one thing I should also mention is before I say what or how many coins I'm betting, I basically, before they put the cameras on, I would walk over to the desk, talk to the guy. He was like, how confident do you think you are at this game? I'm like, well, I'm not sure, this, that and the other. So I'm just getting some information on just to make sure that I'm actually being factually correct here. Where is he? Hang about. So anyway, essentially, there we go, that's what I went in. So essentially before I started playing, I'd walk up to the desk, he'd be like, how many points do you want to bet? I was like, how many do you think? He was like, how confident do you think you're going to be? Da, 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 da. And he said, well, start small, work your way up. I was like, all right, fine, you know. So it was a Neo Geo game. I hadn't really got a Neo Geo at home. They were stupidly expensive back then. But I said, look, I've played an hour of it. I feel relatively confident. He said, all right, let's go with it. 17 points. So
That's good going.
now you'll see who I'm about to play.
The videator who will challenge you is the Violet Blade. Having been released from Alcatraz, he's the...
Now then, if you don't recognise that face, that is Rick Henderson, who's also a producer and writer now for multiple tech shows and tech websites. So me and Rick have actually kept in touch for probably the last 10 years, and we still have the odd joke about playing each other when he was the Violet Blade. Other interesting fact is the fact that that Game Boy is not turned on, which also used to make me and my brother laugh.
He
So.
wears a purple sash. Are you tough enough to take on this brigand?
Please welcome the Violet Blade.
One thing I will say, lovely guy. Lovely guy. So the strange thing is like he's actually quite a quiet guy. So for him to actually be like that is quite comical looking back. But yeah, I just switched off. I was like, okay, they're all going to come out with their big bravado, whatever.
Like a Nancy and a poppycock. Let me tell you this, all right? Don't think
Some of the stuff Bob Mills used to come out with. I think that's why I switched off, because he was just talking so much nonsense I couldn't be bothered.
He's got as much chance of winning as Big Boy Barry has of winning a Kate Moss lookalike competition.
Hey, listen, let me tell you. This is the boy, and if
How good's that? Comes out with a joke, not a single person laughs.
ever the good wishes of a nation were focused into...
Never mind, Rick. Never mind, mate.
This is it. We want you to take this arrogant prig apart. Gentlemen...
So the strange thing was, before we started, the guy at the desk called me over and he just went, please beat him. Please. I went, all right.
Take your positions at the console.
So he's still giving it all the mouth, this, that, and I'm just like, yeah, all right, mate, whatever.
Okie dokie. Well, we've got the Violet Blade up against Dean, and I really do think, actually, I like the look of this guy. I think Dean could even take this opening contest with the Violet Blade. Now, Blady Boy,
Wise man.
Left, he's playing Captain
Wise
Kidd,
man.
who's a big pirate, returned from the grave, even throws ghost ships at his opponents. Over on the right, that's Dean. He's playing a character called Riofo. Now, Riofo's
yeah, it's true. It's very true what you just said there, Taz. Absolutely.
Best of 3, I think it'll go to 3 rounds, and I think Dean will win.
Yeah, that's what I would wish, but I doubt it very much. Then I could sack him, and good things like that never happen to me. You ready to go, gentlemen? Let's do it.
Okay, come on then, says Dean, and in goes the Violet Blade. Violet Blade is Captain Kidd over on the left. Are we going to see him? Yes, indeed. There goes the ghost ship. It's thrown straight away.
Tell you what, though, such a great game. Hard. Playing this like single player? Damn, rock hard.
And in goes, he goes with the spike. I told you Dean was better than people thought. He may be small, but he's compact, and he's got it where it counts. And he's giving the Violet Blade a hell of a run for his money. Look at Blady Boy's damage bar. On the left there, you can see that Blade is in more trouble.
So I realised that he was only dangerous if I gave him distance. The moment I got up in his grill, didn't have no answer at all. How about that for a quote? I should have had that somewhere. There's more to Dean than meets the eye. How about that? And I can hear everything that's being said at the commentary there, and I'm trying not to laugh at this point. So I didn't know there was a whole thing planned in the back end that if I beat him, something would happen. And I'll come into that. And just remember that. I didn't know he was going to pick up the chair and slam it down. Again, 9-year-old kid showing a lot of aggression on a stage, right? Just bear that in mind. So I'm already a bit like, oh, hang on a minute, I've actually pissed someone off. No one's come up to me from the production office and gone, oh, by the way, you know, he might get the arse, this, that, and the other if you beat him, this, that, and the other. But don't worry. And I'm like, all right, just bear that in mind.
I told you so. Beneath that serene exterior beats the heart of a fighting maniac. Dean, you've beaten the Violet Blade.
Beneath that serene exterior beats the heart of a fighting maniac. Oh, if I could get tattoos, I'd have that on my chest.
68 points.
Whoa, Dean, 68 points, brilliant performance. And it leaves me asking 2 questions. How far can this man go? And secondly, Cybernauts, what's this pompous buffoon still doing on my stage? You're sacked. Get rid of him. Get him out. Yes, that's the last we'll see of the Scarlet Buff.
So if you look at my face, you can see I'm not all right. Yeah? So just bear that in mind. You can see that I'm not the same confident person you saw at the start. And you'll understand why in a bit.
Whatever his stupid name was. This is the man now. Focus all your attention on...
Why can't you get ink? Ah, I'm a Muslim. That is why. So getting tattoos is against my religion.
We've
So
got
there you
another
go.
cracker because we've got NBA Jam Tournament Edition. This game...
Of all the games you could have picked, Gamesworld, you pick that one. Again, the producer came round the corner and he went, yeah, it's NBA Jam again. And I went, cool. And he went, Sonics? Yep. So I could actually pick my team this time. So yeah, as you can imagine, it was a bit of a different experience this time because I had played it even more and become even more confident in it this time. So
you got 68 points.
I got 68 points. Listen to how much I bet.
30.
Now, if I lost, that's a lot of coins to lose. So matey boy at the desk called me over and went, you've got this game, haven't you? And I went, yep. And he went, you're pretty good at it. Yep. And he went, yep, 30 points, do it. I said to him, I could have bet the whole lot. And he went, don't do that because it could go horribly wrong. And I went, fair enough. So it was, as I said, it was quite nice. He actually kept you quite grounded. So I hated this guy. Hated him. Oh, God. Even thinking back now.
Can you outclass him?
Do you know what? I've actually been trying to look for this guy for a long time. I think I found him on LinkedIn, actually. I don't want to reach out and be like, oh, are you Master Moriarty, the guy who used to be on Gamesworld? And he's going to be like, are you some nutcase or whatever? Like, what are you talking about? So, as I said, look at my face, right? You can see something's not right. And I'll go into why.
Great to see you. Listen, how's, what is it, Loser?
Oh, Lou's going fine, and it's quite interesting because a fellow classmate of mine, Spacker, has introduced me to a novella published in a graphic medium. So,
graphic? We're talking comics here, aren't we?
Well, some people may call
all
it
the money spent on your education, and you're making comics, okay? Let's see what you're going to make of this guy because he is no comedian. All right? We think he could be about to give you a drubbing.
It's that Top Hat Gaming man. I'll put. Do you know what? I'll tell you what, Taz. I'll tell you what to do. Take a screenshot of that. Hang on. Hang about. There you go. Take a screenshot of that and tweet it at him. Right, that should have been long enough. Right.
Well, some people may call
all the money spent on your education, and you're making.
Yeah, I don't know why I hated this character so much. I think I just couldn't stand toffs back then, so that's probably why.
Let's take our positions at the console.
So, but at this point, I'm like, I'm still remembering what happened before, right? So I'm thinking, if I beat this guy, what's he going to turn around? Pick up the chair, smack it around my head or something? So I'm like, I'm already a bit on edge, right? But I'm like, okay, I'm here to play games. It's NBA Jam. Going to be easy.
Moriarty's on the left. He's playing Orlando Magic. Over on the right, Dean is playing the Seattle Supersonics. We played just one.
All about the Sonics, mate. All about the Sonics.
It's going to be an exhibition match, and Dean's going to show Moriarty how it's done.
Exactly.
When you get keen on someone, you don't hold back at all, do you?
Not at all. This guy is going to win.
Okay, well, Moriarty.
He knew I was going to smash him. He absolutely knew I was going to smash him to pieces.
Let's slam dunk.
Okay, once again, Moriarty on the left, and Dean. Oh, great plays already, but nicely snatched there by Moriarty. Dear me, have I got it wrong? Moriarty getting first on the scoreboard. No, that's off the rim. As you see, it's Dean playing from right to left, and there you go. No, but that didn't make it Pretty sure of that one. That's a safe 2 points there. Excellent. So as you can see, Seattle go two up. Here we go again. Another two.
So again, remember the old tactic I said? Get it up the court.
Oh, he's taking the ball again.
Make sure the other person's there to get the rebound.
Go on, Dean, it's round the rim. Oh, it's just gone off. He's made
There we
sure.
go.
He's on fire. Yes, this is real fab stuff. Here we go again. Come on, Moriarty. This is real.
And I knew
That's not gonna
he
be
hadn't
it.
played
Come
it
on then, Dean.
at
Oh,
all.
that one hit. No, Dean,
At
get it
all.
from him. I told you
Here
this
we
one
go.
was good. Here we go. Look at that rocket ball. Just off the bar. Here we go again. He's made sure again. This is 8-0. I'll tell you something, Dean. Here's a challenge for you. Can you beat Moriarty without him scoring a single point? Let's see if that's possible. Here we go again. He's bad enough for that to actually happen. Let's take a look. He keeps taking the ball off him again. Here we go. Come on, Dean. Make sure of this one. Yeah. Oh, just off. Here we go. Oh, Moriarty passes up the field. Now Moriarty makes sure. No. Those wild shots are no good. Get in close, Meister, and make sure for your 2 points. You can't afford to take risks. Not when you're behind like this. Dean's on fire. In it goes. Super slap. And now he's 10 points ahead. It's 10 points to nothing. Here we go. Wild shot from Moriarty. No good. Another wild shot from Dino. And that's good. Straight through.
All about 3 points, ladies and gentlemen. All about the 3 points. He does start to come back. That was the interesting thing, is I started getting far too confident, and that's when he started pulling back.
It must be said. Here goes Dean. These guys, they're playing up and down the field. Now what's happening here is that Dean is getting real comfortable, and he's actually taking a few chances. If I was Dean, I wouldn't be quite so laid back, because Moriarty could always bring a surprise. He is a mediator after all. As you can see, he's getting into his game now. Is that going in? Yes, it is.
See? Started pulling it back, and I was like, well, okay. All I've got to do is hit a 3-point, and job done.
Here we go again. We're out of time though.
There it is.
Easy win for Dino. He's done it.
Game over.
When somebody's good, it's written all over their face. Dino's got it in capital letters. Nicely played, my son. 98 points.
Dean, an absolutely superb performance. If you excuse me for just 1 minute. Moriarty, I don't know what to say to you, really.
Murdered him.
Every
Yeah,
opportunity
he,
to stay up till 6:30. You have muffins
yeah, he didn't
to
stand a
eat.
chance.
I don't mind when you do these extracurricular things.
Never mind,
But you
never
know what
mind.
you've done tonight? You've let me down. You've let the videators down. You've let yourself down. I'm going to have a long, hard think about your future on this team, I'll tell you. Ladies and gentlemen, Master Moriarty, off you go, son. A sad, desolate figure, and I have to say, I don't know how much more we're going to see of him. Would that we had more players of this man's quality there on Millsy Island. He's got 98 points. He could be going through the roof. I'm looking forward to seeing what he does with the videators when we come back after this break.
So again, he's looking at me and he's like, well done, mate, what's wrong? And I'm like, nothing. And obviously in the back of my mind, I'm still thinking about the Violet Blade being stupidly pissed off, right? And again, I'm a 9-year-old kid. And you can see me, like, I'm still nervous as shit. Don't know what's going on. I'm like, alright, whatever. Then I find out that I'm going to play the next person.
98 points, and we're only halfway through the show, and he's going to take on another videator right now. Tim, what do we got?
Okay, Dean, your next game is Smash Tennis. It's tennis, it's perfect, it's brilliant. You can do absolutely anything with that ball. Just do it.
Yes, indeed.
So this is where things take a bit of a turn for the worse. So I never practiced smash court tennis, stupidly. They had an array of games set up, but we didn't know exactly what games were going to be played. So out of, say, I don't know, 20 games, they would pick the 3, right? So you didn't quite know. So I didn't think in 1,000 years they would ever pick smash tennis. Lo and behold, smash tennis. Or smash court tennis, sorry.
You want to go up to the 100? What do you want to bet? 24. 24, yes indeed. Press the button.
And it happens to be a person that many of you will recognise.
Challenge you is Big Boy Barry. He's big, he's bad, he believes he's unbeatable, he's full of bravado. Are you?
Please welcome Big Boy Barry!
Whoa, Dean, you bet big and you've won big, but now you picked up Big Boy himself, the one, the only Big Boy Barry.
And I remember seeing him coming out, and I just, inside of me, just went, out of everybody it could have been. Because they basically said, like, well, So they basically said, like, well, you're kicking everyone's ass. We need to level this out because it's getting a bit embarrassing that this little kid is basically slaughtering everyone. So, which I'm fine with. Let's bring the Barry on. You know, if you're going to test yourself, iron sharpens iron, right? So if you're going to sharpen the iron, that's cool. Again, none of the theatrical play that you see was ever explained to me at this point. Listen to what's said.
Charlene, initiate plan Alpha Alpha Zero, code BBBX. PR's going for Charlene, those
Look at my face. I look like I don't know what he's just done. And I'm like, hang on a minute, he's going to start cheating. All this starts cycling in my head, right? So, she's a cute little wee thing. Again, I must say, everybody on the show was awesome. Bar these few nuances, which I'm going to go through now. So again, he's like, go and execute some plan. I'm like, all right, cool. That's going to happen. Anyway.
What's with the big plan? What's the plan?
I'll tell you, Bob, I'm sorry. After last time's disastrous result, Vinny, my lawyer, he's been on the old dog and bone. He's made sure Charlene goes down the back, make sure no one's filling with the joy pads. Know what I mean?
Yeah, and listen, after the last result, you're going to be on your highest metal because we're going to put... There was somebody else here. Oh, Dean, sorry, I forgot all about it. You disappeared in the shadow there. Listen, he's taken on 2 of your erstwhile colleagues and he's beaten them. What do you say?
You think you're going to win?
Yeah, sure.
Do you think he's going to win? Yeah.
So everybody was on my side, strangely enough. Even though Big Boy Barry was well loved by everyone. So again, just keep in mind everything I'm saying, right? So like, we've already seen someone throwing a chair about. He's walking off telling someone to go and execute some frigging master plan. And I'm a little kid going, what is going on? So I don't know, like, what's going on. And again, when we sat down and I saw it was Smash Tennis, I was like, oh, shit. And I'm thinking, well, obviously this guy's going to know how to play it. So I've played a few tennis games before. But I wouldn't say I was excellent at them. So I was kind of trying to work things out as I was going along. And you see, by the time I worked things out, it was too late. So we'll see.
You ready to go? Best of 3. Let's serve.
And yeah, that shirt really isn't nice, is it?
Here we go. Barry with the serve. Oh, great service, but a good return. And Barry messed up. Absolutely. Dean makes it
At that point, I thought, oh, maybe he hasn't practiced it as well. So I started getting a bit more confident, and then it all goes downhill, and you'll see why.
Barry's really pulling out all the stops here, but Dean's got every answer, apart from those little drop shots. And now Barry claws one back to get 15-30. And as Barry found Dean's Achilles heel. Oh, that was great return there from Dean. Oh, this is really good. Can Dean break the serve in the first game? Here we are. Oh, an ace from Barry. That's really good. Pulls it out when it really counts. But still, Dean's got 1 break point. Come on, Dean. Yes! Dean takes the first game. Brilliantly done. He's broken Barry's service. Oh, dear me.
This is where it all starts to go wrong. I was brilliant at returning, couldn't serve. Could not serve. And unfortunately in tennis, serving is a pretty important part of the game.
Oh, dear me. It seems to me that Dean seems to be a better receiver than he's a server. Let's see how we can do here.
Even he said it there.
Oh, Barry's got a great return there. That's really good play from him now.
So at that point, I knew the only way I could beat him is if it goes level and I manage to get the last round. So I knew at that point I was in trouble.
Oh, dear me, don't tell me they're going to lose it on your service. Oh, that would be a terrible shame. Oh, that's a first ball. Don't let the nerves get to you, Dean. Take your time. Don't let Barry put you off.
And I was bricking it at this point.
Bobby, I think that was a case of serious nerves there from poor old Dean. But now he's receiving again because Big Boy with the serve. Rocket serve. Oh, but Dean fails to get there in time. Are the nerves beginning to get to this guy at last?
It's weird watching this back, man. It's so weird watching this back because I remember everything going through my head where I was just like, I've lost this. And I knew it straight away. I 100% knew I'd lost this. From the moment I couldn't serve, I was just like, well, he's obviously got me. And you can see he's growing in confidence, you know, the showman is coming out. And at that point, I was like, well, I've got absolutely no chance, so...
And let that be a lesson to you, young Dean. You can't win all the time. You're left with 74 points.
Valid.
Whoa, Dean, it had...
Right, now, all I'm going to say is, what happens next, again, nobody told me about. And remember, I'm a 9-year-old kid. I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to let it play. You see what happens.
happen in the end, didn't it? Because you really were up against the master of disaster.
Look, he might have beaten those other nests, but the Violet Blade?
What's the Violet Blade doing here? What is...
Right! On the show, you won't have Barry either. You'll hear from me. Get out, you! Get out! Out! Yes! Out! Out, Peggy!
No word of a lie, I nearly shit myself. So you imagine, like, I've already seen someone swinging a chair around. Suddenly he comes back with a baseball bat, pretends to hit him. I'm a 9-year-old kid. I don't know any better. When you used to watch wrestling as a kid, you thought it was real. Bloody hell, kids this age still thought Father Christmas was still real, right? So yeah, like, I was genuinely scared. And you see Bob Mills properly pull me back, and he really pulled me back. So I was like, is this fake? Is this real? What's going on? I'll come into what happens afterwards now.
Don't worry about that. Don't worry about it, Dean.
You can already see my eyes.
I have my own private army of cyberpunks, and they'll sort that fool out. Don't you worry about that. You just concentrate on your playing, all right? Okay, I'll shield you from that. Don't worry. Now then, you're doing all right. You're doing okay.
The reason why he's saying that, he's got an earpiece, and the producers are going, he looks like he's going to cry at any minute.
You've got some good points. You need to get even more, because you want to be sure that you're right up there on the leaderboard. You've got one more game. Tim, what have we got?
And the moment they cut that off, I did not stop crying. I felt awful. So I didn't know what was going on. So, you know, you imagine poor old me. I'm sitting there, I'm standing, I'm like, what's just going on? Someone's just come on stage, got hit by a frigging baseball bat. I don't know what's going on. Oh, hang on a minute. What was that? M. Bauer, 99. Thank you very much for the follow. That's very appreciated. So I didn't have a clue what was going on. I've just seen someone come on stage wielding a baseball bat, and all of a sudden, you were crying a bit. No, absolutely. And, like, you know, someone's come on stage, pretended to hit someone with a baseball bat. I don't know what's real and what isn't. Bob Mills has literally grabbed me and, shoved himself into me, like, I'm going to protect you. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, from that moment, I was really shook up. And all of my confidence was shot to pieces. And the final game, you'll see I just mentally completely switched off.
You can afford to lose one, you're that good, because now you're playing Sniper's Alley. You've got 40 seconds to shoot the bad guy as often as you can. Don't shoot the videators though, because if you do that, you get a red light. If you shoot the
they paused it off and got my parents because they were like, what's gone on, basically, and they explained it, and then they had to tell me what was going on. And looking back, I'm like, and you can see, I'm not the same person. I'm in a different world, mate. And basically, Bob Mills and the guy at the desk spent a good 15 minutes with me trying to get me mentally back where I should have been. Because as a kid, I was shot to pieces. I was like, I've made someone get fired. They've come back out annoyed. They're swinging baseball bats, you know. So mentally, I was like, whoa, this is some intense stuff going on here. So last game, you have to shoot all the videators, avoid the gamesworld logo, and then basically it goes up or down. You have to hit a threshold, I think. Yeah, so you have to get all the greens, basically. So I was like, okay, fine. And it was that one that cost me it. And that one. If I got those two, I would have been fine. I would have won it.
Play, Dino. I like this. Over on the right, yes! You've got 5 to go and you've got 14 seconds. Yes, one in the middle. Come on, Dean, just 4 to go. You can still do this. You've got 10 seconds, one in the middle again.
Sure, even listening to people chant my name now still sends the hairs at the back of my neck up.
One in the middle, yes, one more to go. Just one more, Dean.
You can see how absolutely gutted I am.
It's the toughest game on the planet, Dean. You did very well, though. You are left with 64 points.
64, it's a good score. Is it good enough? Tim, where is he on the leaderboard?
Okay, Bob, we have a new entry in the top 8. He's at number 7.
So, yes, 7th on the leaderboard. The top 8 come back at the end of the series for the grand final. Dean, you think you're going to be back for the final?
Yeah.
You pleased with your performance?
Yeah.
You did superbly well. You beat 2 videators. One of them, you earned the sack, and the other one, I'll tell you, his future is very much in the balance. It's been a crazy show. The Violet Blades come on. What's happened to Barry? I don't know, but I promise you, I will keep you informed.
Just
Now, we're
look
back
how
next week.
devastated
Monday,
I
Wednesday,
am.
we have 2 more eliminators, and on
I'm
Friday,
not, at that
somebody
point,
will
I
stand
wasn't
here
even
trying to
I don't
be
even know what I
first
was thinking
from
about.
the
I was just
leaderboard, trying to
existing
put
at
you
that
down,
point as a
trying to
9-year-old
take his
kid.
place. That's how tough it is. There's no nice Uncle Bob here. It's raw emotion on Games World. Where are you going to be Monday? I know where you're going to be. Right here. We'll see you then. Thank you. Good night.
So that finishes off episode 2, right? Now, I said I was going to address a few things. Now, as I said, there was a video that was doing the rounds. This generally made my heart hurt. It's actually quite emotional watching it back. Remembering all the things I went through and stuff. But if that had been me, I would have gone ballistic. Well, yeah, if it happened now, I probably would have started a fight. But anyway, the video that went around on YouTube that someone sent to me, they were like, oh yeah, Dean started crying because he wasn't winning and stuff like that. His parents got involved. They demanded a restart and this, that and the other. Nope. Did not happen. I'm telling you, God's honest truth, that is exactly what happened. Violet Blade comes on stage, he's got a baseball bat, he's swinging it around like a madman, Bob Mills grabs me, I'm thinking everything is legit at this point. I don't know what's real, what isn't. I break down crying. No shame in that as a 9-year-old with all that going on stage. And yeah, I mean, to be fair, the producers and stuff like that realised what had gone on, and suddenly realised they were at fault. And then kind of, obviously try to patch things up. But, there was some lunacy in this video where they were talking about, even in the grand final, that, my parents went and protested and all this absolute rubbish. And I don't know if that did happen with anyone else, but they were directing it at me. And I can tell you wholeheartedly, definitely didn't happen, 100%. And you're hearing this directly from me, not from a third party, directly from me. And my brother who's in the chat can 100% back me up on that as well. So, yeah, see, episode 2 is a roller coaster ride, and it will be one that stays with me for life. Very proud moments, very sad moments as well, because I really wanted to go through and be one of the only people to completely wipe the slate clean with everyone and achieve something that no one else had really done, which was beat some of the top videators and then win that final game. But some things in life, it doesn't go that way, but as I said, it was a great. It's a great thing to have even been part of, because Gamesworld became a bit of a cult classic in the 90s and stuff, and it was nice to be part of that and know that I've still got this heritage of games playing. And ever since then, it's not really changed. I kind of was dipping in and out of gaming and sort of tournaments and here and that. So it was kind of the first stepping stone. So thanks to my brother for going to see Games World live and actually putting me forward for the audition. So it was definitely down to him that I even got on the show. So I think that's a good place to stop before we go into the grand final. Not that there's much footage of me, but it is quite an interesting thing to watch. So I think on that note, I will probably end the stream. It's been an hour and a half of madness. If you missed the start, once I end the stream, give it about 10 minutes. You can go back and watch the start if you want to hear the whole entire story before the actual stream of the video actually starts. It's quite an interesting story, and I think it might make some of you giggle anyway. So I don't know if anyone here's got any questions that they want to ask me at all. Random check, we're currently up to 37 followers, so we are slowly climbing to that magic goal of being Twitch affiliated, so we are slowly getting there. But yeah, I don't know if you guys got any questions or any comments of what you've seen so far. What do you think of the Ryzen chips? That's an interesting comment. I thought it'd be one about Games World. I've never used a Ryzen chip myself. Sorry, I just dropped my phone. I've never actually used a Ryzen chip myself, but I hear good things. So still pricing up PC parts. I would my only advice would be try and go for what's the word I'm thinking of? The highest spec that you can afford to future-proof yourself. So if the Ryzen chip is the best performing one for what you want to do, and you can afford it, and it's the best performing thing for what you want to do, future-proof yourself. That's what I would do. But I hear good things about the Ryzen chip, so. I've got to grab a shower before I head to dinner with my cousins. Mate, great stream as usual. Thank you very much, and thank you very much for coming. Not sure when I'm going to do the grand final stream. I'm going to be away for a few days over Saturday and Sunday. I'm going to be at MCM Birmingham Comic-Con. So I don't know if I'm going to do a Sunday stream. I'll probably be coming back quite late. So maybe on Monday or Tuesday. Tuesday, maybe we'll do a Tekken Tuesday come Games World stream. I don't know. We'll see exactly how that goes and take it from there. But yeah, if there's nothing else, I will casually slip out the back door and end the stream there. So I hope you've enjoyed it. It was something I've been meaning to do for a very, 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 very long time. And also, I think it was that YouTube video I saw that that someone that someone said where they were talking all sorts of stuff about me, and I just wanted to set the record straight on just a few things about what was said. So yeah, Taz, make sure you drop Fireseed a whisper on Twitch. You guys should probably hook up and talk about CPUs and stuff. Fireseed, as he said, has got a Ryzen. He definitely knows a lot about the chips. I've never ran one myself, so I don't know. Right, anyway, I am going to drop off. So, again, thank you very much. Managed to key out the blue on here. That's interesting, because it's not quite green, it's blue. But anyway, with that being said, I'm going to go and get some sleep. Let's turn the cat back around. Games World is done. There we go. I feel a bit human now. Thank you very much for everyone who's joined. If anyone in the chat is new here, please make sure you go and hit the follow button at the top corner there somewhere. And yeah, so yeah, please make sure you go and follow. Nice one, Ainsley. I haven't got an Ainsley emoji yet. Maybe that will be the first one when I get Twitch affiliated. We'll drop a little Ainsley Harriet one in there. As a bit of banter. That's an inside joke, by the way, if none of you get that, so don't worry. But yes, I will drop off, and if you're not currently following me, please make sure you do so. Also, make sure you follow me on social media. Please go to instagram.com/MeanMachineDean, or on Twitter, it's the MMD_, because some bugger already has MeanMachineDean, and I can't get it. Not cool. Anyway, I'm going to sign off. Thank you very much for the stream. Thank you very much for everyone who popped by, and have a very pleasant evening, afternoon, or morning, wherever you are. And I will speak to you all soon. Keep an eye out. I will probably see if I can upload some footage from when I'm at MCM Birmingham. I may try and live stream. Ooh, could be a bit risky. But we'll see. Anyway, good to see you all. Thank you very much for joining, and until next time, see ya. Oh, hang on. I can't actually change my slides. Hang on. There we go. Let's get rid of that. There we go. Right. Goodbye.